What's up? This is Will. Welcome to Will's Wheel, where we don't reinvent the wheel to success. Today we have Patterson Bunch, Journeyman Lineman, DWP. It's going to be an awesome episode. Yeah, me and Patterson, we went to school together, LA Trade Tech. We'll get into that later in the interview, but we're just gonna kind of start off with Patterson, how he grew up, where he grew up, and then we'll just go from there. Where are you from and where did you grow up?
Okay, I come from an island which is called the Commonwealth of Dominica, island right there in the Caribbean. People get the misconception that when you say you're from Dominica, you're from the Dominican Republic, but it's actually two different islands. Grew up there for about 17 years of my life. Came to America for vacation, and about 3 weeks in, I was supposed to, I guess, go back home. Was loving it. I made my decision to stay here and use the opportunities available here to enhance myself.
So can you describe the island before we jump into what made you decide to come here?
Growing up on the island was it's pretty cool. You have rivers, the lakes, the boiling lakes, the sulfur springs. It's a lot of, I guess you would say, family oriented. Tropical, right? Black sand beaches, volcanic terrain, very mountainous. I guess you could say everybody kind of got along with each other. Your neighbor need some sugar, right there, or need help with something. It was easily to get help, or even just communicate in the neighborhood communities, I would say. Got a good cultural background. We were first colonized by France, and then we got colonized by Britain, and then became an independent nation. Growing up, it's pretty cool. Your friends are here. It's that's a decision that was difficult to make when I first came on vacation, because I thought that there's no way in hell I'm staying here, because I had to start life all over again. There's no friends that I got. I mean, you have acquaintances in the beginning, but I had all my friends back home. I was in college, my first year, finishing that up, going to year two, and that's why my decision the first couple of weeks was difficult, whether to stay or leave.
What would you say is the difference in the education at home versus here?
The turning point wasn't the education. The turning point was more of an opportunity standpoint. I realized back home we were fed quite a healthy range of education, but there was not opportunities to match it. And then here I realized that I could work and go to school. At home, certain places or establishments are closed at relatively early, but here I realized you could actually work around the clock and still get your studies done at the same time. So you could juggle your future and earning a living at the same time. As far as the educational standpoint, it kind of helped me when I started doing junior college here. I didn't really get the chance to finish up my 4-year degree, because that's when I made the turning point to go into line work. It's more of the opportunities where you could juggle work and school. That's when I realized I'm gonna stay.
So what made you interested in the lineman program?
So first and foremost, I know nothing about linemen. I had no idea what these people do. I can't recall the many times I looked up and saw a guy on a pole or have had any interest. I never did that. My turning point going towards that career was when I first came to America. I didn't have a work resume or work history, so I had to build that. And the way I started building that was trying to build an educational resume to look employable. So with that, Robert Arguez, when we met in the inside the wireman course at Trade Tech, but he was, hey, you want to go and take this climbing class? And I know physically I could be able to handle that, so I was just like, that's a great idea. Another certificate to add to the resume that could make me look employable. Genius. Great. I took that, and also the craft helper class at Trade Tech, which was also another certificate. That time I don't drive, so every class, every opportunity I got along with joining the class with him, I took it, because my transportation at that time was the bus or the train. So him and asking me with that class, it was a no-brainer, because I was already looking at it as a resume tool. So once I get to an interview, I could elaborate on the skills acquired to make me more employable.
One thing I always admired about you was your drive, man. You always gave everything 100%. Where'd you get that drive from?
I would just be back in the islands sipping coconuts, just having a good time with my friends, you know. And I mean, still trying to navigate through life in the work field, but that's the deciding factor of staying here, right? I don't think I was gonna come here and just relive the Caribbean in America. Opportunities drove me. If I'm making that deciding factor to sacrifice family and friends and being over here, then what am I doing different? You know, it's a personal achievement too, right? What am I doing to decide for staying here? I think also too, people is taking opportunities for granted here. I find fascinating more people are not abusing it. I'm abusing these opportunities that comes my way because I don't want to leave with regrets that this opportunity came my way, and I just nonchalantly and then make it take its course where I could feel that being in the driver's seat, I could make more use of it and do what I had to do. And work ethic, obviously, from dad, grandma, that kind of contributing to the willpower to keep that track going.
And like you said, coming from the island, seeing the opportunities here, and that's just pushing you.
I would say just based on demonstration, you know, you see people working hard, right? I mean, you don't have to tell me you're working hard. You know, I could see my grandma working hard, 2 jobs, see my dad working hard. And as a child or teenager, you really only have one goal, one job task in the house. You don't pay bills. It's just to bring them good grades. Their hard work in buying books and supplying food and making sure the lights on so you could do your homework. Their work ethic, the seeing them, okay, grandma's doing this. Man, I would hate to see her hard work that she did to provide this food go in the trash because, you know, it's, you know, part of me that would just hurt me personally.
Did you ever put like a timetable on yourself, like, oh, I need to hurry up, get these degrees so I can start working?
No, because things takes time. You always want things overnight, I guess, is human nature. But you can't. There's certain things in place here you have to meet requirements, levels to achieve. You can't just say you want to be an astronaut. Things in place that you have to do, you have to become as a person to get to that point. I would maybe had like a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan. At that time, I wasn't gonna be like, in 2 years, I'll have this degree. Because there are obstacles you can't control sometimes, right? Like I said, I was commuting on the bus and transportation. So it's not like I could make the bus go any faster or pick me up at a more sooner time. And me still trying to contribute to my household with my mom and my brother at that time, balancing school. I really don't really put a timeline on, hey, I should get this degree by this time. And like I said, the lineman stuff, I didn't know if it was going to kick off because I did not anticipate being a lineman in the beginning. Initially, once I started doing the inside wireman course, and then I passed the Edison test. Me not knowing about the route, I kind of fell off a bit because as soon as I took the Edison test, I was like, perfect, I got a job. But there's levels to, like, again, moving on through the process and physical interview and practical interview, which I was not aware of. But I realized a lot of people was aware of the track, but I didn't because I knew no one who was a lineman. Most of my peers went to local 18, signed the union books. I didn't know. I heard about it, but I went. I said, oh, that's what you do? Cool. And while I was waiting for my turn, I got called by local 11. And I had just was in a situation with Edison where I never got called to progress my situation. But I was just, like I said, I don't know what it was. So I just kept on trying to the next thing. While Local 11 called me, all my buddies were getting in with at the exam helper program at Water and Power. And I started taking my classes towards electrical engineering because I'm still waiting to get picked up. Again, me not knowing I'm going to Local 47 or 1245, but supposedly people in the class are aware of it, but I just don't know. Once I got to Calculus 2, they told me there was more math, and I was just like, this is not it. There's no way. There's no way. I'm out. I gotta find something else while I'm waiting, so I started taking classes towards kinesiology. before I got picked up for the helper position at Water and Power.
I'm glad you brought that up about the steps. I was in the same situation. I graduated, took all those classes, and I was selling mattresses. And no knock on that, it wasn't until a lineman came into the mattress store, Kevin Kessler, white chocolate, and he had some transformers on the back of his t-shirt, a bank. And I was like, oh man, you got a bank on your shirt. He like, how do you know that? And I told him like, oh man, I went to school. And he's like, well, what are you doing here? I'm like, dude, I don't got nobody to tap into to ask what's the next step. And he was like, man, go down to JTC. They're about to start doing interviews. Dude, that night I was on there. That's one of the reasons why I got the channel, to give this information out, to pass on this knowledge. If you don't have somebody guiding you, if you don't have a mentor or resources or a network, you lost.
People asking about how long before I start getting this money. Jay-Z said it best. People only emulate the end result. No one's looking at the process of it. Like, man, the sacrifices, the late nights, the call-ins, it's raining, working in it. The journey is actually cool, but I think the end results more gets emulated more than the process.